Live. What's
We're
going on,
live.
everybody? What up, Mo? What's up, Suni?
What
Suni
up?
doesn't even know we're live yet, but there she is. So we got a special guest. We're gonna be doing they're gonna be doing their 9 o'clock anthem in the jail. We got Cash and the crew singing the national anthem to start today's show. Go ahead and share this episode out. It's a little quiet. Can you hear it at all?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Sing louder.
Wow.
Very enthusiastic.
I'll call you right back.
All right, sounds good.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, so we're going to have Cash on for the beginning of the show. We got some good topics. We're going to talk about 2,000 donkeys, Supreme Court needing protection because nobody's care about the rule of law in this country. Jen Psaki won't speak out against it. We got Beetlejuice giving bonuses to move to Chicago for people to get abortions up there. Cool. Trump brought J&J, Johnson & Johnson, I believe, CEO on stage. And Dave Chappelle Chappelle's attacker pleads not guilty to misdemeanors, not felonies, might I add. So again, we're going to have Cash help us out starting the show, see what he wants to talk about first, and then we'll get to it with our crew. We got Suni and Mo on today's episode, and that's what we got. So go ahead. Oh my God, it's loud.
An incarcerated individual.
Mo, what's going on in your life? What's cracking?
Nothing much. It's pretty good. Everything's pretty good. My daughter is in flight attendant school as we speak. She's in Phoenix training to be a flight attendant. So that's really cool. And interesting enough, I don't mean to take up the what's going on time, but interestingly enough, they are very picky, very choosy about how you become a flight attendant. You can't have bad teeth. You can't be too fat. You can't be too short. You can't be too tall.
Interesting. So you actually have to be a presentable human being to be a flight attendant. That's great. Yes. It's good to know that we can still have some semblance of common sense in this world. All right, guys, share this episode out there. We've got Cash on the phone. We've got Suni here. We got Mo. Thankfully, Cash is balancing out the estrogen and testosterone between the group. Otherwise, it was going to be a bloodbath. Not fully, because Mo, I don't think, can have a period anymore, but Suni still can, and we can tell when she is on it. That is clear, 100%, which seems like most of the months. Cash, what's going on with you in the D.C. jail? What's up?
What's going on, y'all? Chilling, man. I mean, everything is everything. We're still here. I'm alive.
So what have you guys, and you get to see more footage than we do about January 6th. And I don't know if you got to see Chuck Schumer today, but might have been yesterday, talking about how he was essentially threatening Kavanaugh, saying either he needs to do something or else if they don't change this, he won't know what hit him. And essentially promoting violence on a Supreme Court justice just because of the Roe versus Wade situation. So do you think that lends itself to being a little more insurrection-y?
Well, I mean, you got to look up the definition of insurrection.
Valid.
So the definition of insurrection is a violent overthrow or violent actions taken against an authority, usually government. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with them. Yes, that could be a form of insurrection, but I mean, hey, the term is used so loosely these days. So
Right.
you call somebody an idiot, you might be causing an insurrection.
And he's
If you think about calling somebody an idiot, you might be causing an insurrection in today's society.
well in today's society, but in that case, he's specifically saying before a Supreme Court decision has been handed out just because of a leak, he is essentially saying that this person needs to be threatened and silenced or have their opinions changed. That is breaking the whole rule of law.
There's no difference from him saying that than Maxine Waters in 2020 telling people that when they see these people in public or they see them at the gas station, that they need to run up and be confrontational. It's the same exact thing. I mean, so yeah, they can the same rules for me, not for me.
Exactly. So somebody asked where Kevin and Casey are. Kevin is on his final week of school. He's doing finals right now. Casey he's got some family stuff going on. Send some prayers to him. I do believe his wife is not feeling well, so not a lot of details there, but just send some prayers over to Casey for those asking. Hopefully we'll have the crew back by episode 100. We are coming up, Cash. We're coming up on episode 100 episodes of Truth will Set You Free. It's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and show this one clip of Shumi Pants. Let's see. There it is. And then you guys can hear it. It's 15 seconds long. Super short.
You, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh,
I'm pretty sure that's insurrection-y, if you ask me. I'm not going to lie.
It's very similar to, well, I wouldn't even say it's, yeah.
What were you saying, Mo?
I was just saying, I mean, it's kind of like reminiscent of Trump being up there, right? On J6.
But how so? He never once was that aggressive. Like, yes, there was some issues, but he never once said, if they don't change this decision, we got to hit them in the mouth or else. Or we got to,
not in that exact way, but he did it in his way. You know what I mean? Like his followers obviously were riled up. And I think that's, I'm just saying this, listen, as long as there's no violence and all this other stuff, I have to say it's their right to be out there and protesting it. That's what makes us Americans. Sure. They can be out there and protest it. They can have a thought about it. If they want to have a thought about it, they can be upset, just like we can be upset. But I think, there has to be a line there. You can't get crazy with it. And it's comical to me that the same people that were criticizing us for us doing it are now doing it. That's what makes them look stupid. Not necessarily what they're saying.
They've been doing that forever, though. Anyways, yeah. Before you're back to Cash, Suni, how you been? What's going on? What's cracking? You're muted. Oh, Suni flashing back to the old days where she doesn't take the mute off. Your mute is still on.
She's still muted.
Yes,
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I didn't mute that, so
I couldn't unmute it, which means you muted it, Sister Sledge.
No way. No, I'm chilling. I was actually trying to fix my watch while you guys are doing that, but it's not working. So I'm chilling. I'm just here. We're here to do a show, and I'm here to just be the dissenting opinion that I am and piss everybody off. It's rather fun.
You hear that, Cash? That's what she does. She just pisses people off. But once you left, she's become a raging bee sting.
A raging bee sting?
I'm a white male. I can't call a black woman a bitch. I got to say a raging bee sting. I'll get in deep shit if I do that.
If you say it either way, you're in deep shit. So yeah.
Right.
I suggest you tread lightly, sir.
Tread lightly, sir. Oh, we got Grant Bull in the comments. Our favorite dissenting opinion, actually. There's a difference between. Oh, do I have to talk like Grant since he's here?
Yes,
Go ahead.
please. As
So
much
Grant,
as
by the
possible.
way, Cash, if we haven't told you, Grant's been a little pestering individual for about, I don't know, 8 months now, 6 to 8 months. Every so often he pops on, says how horrible of a show we are, how dumb we are. Yet he keeps
But he
watching.
tunes in every
I don't
Tuesday.
get it. So I decided to
Oh, we got a grade A troll.
a grade A troll. So let's see if there's anything.
That's what's
Has
up.
he said
Hey,
anything?
you ain't doing it right if you don't got one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Grant says protesting has always been a thing. Storming a building, trying to stop an election from going through is completely a different thing. Yeah. However, Grant, there's a difference
He
between.
wasn't there. So
Yeah, he wasn't.
Cat-
he wasn't there, so you can't say that. I'm gonna tell you right now. If police officers attack, this you're gonna be shocked at me saying this, right? But I completely understand where Black Lives Matter was coming from. I completely understand because
Respect,
when we walked
Cash.
up and seen what we seen, it was no protesters that was clashing with police officers. Police officers clashing with protesters, shooting people with pepper balls, spraying people with mace, hitting people with shields. You know what I'm saying? That's what they was doing. All while women and children and old people were in the crowd for simply singing USA, chanting USA. So for you to sit there and say, "Oh,
Hit the button,
it's a completely
Sudi.
different thing," you're right.
Oh.
It is a completely different thing. We were justified.
Huh.
Take it how you want to take it.
Grant says
Ah,
you can't just call every protest an insurrection. Well, Cash, just because he's in the jail cell with all the quote unquote insurrectionists, he did the definition, but much the same as I'm sure you are in the bedroom. You came a little late to the party on this one, and you probably missed the definition of insurrection. And essentially, what Chuck Schumer is doing, and what a lot of the left are doing, is. And by the way, this is coming from somebody with probably a very unpopular opinion in this group. I hold some pro-choice values and opinions. I also know that the Roe versus Wade decision has nothing to do, has very little to do with abortion being overturned. It's essentially giving it to the state. But facts don't matter when you live in the ultra-left world. But that is the major difference. And the great thing is, here's the difference. I can say it carefully, delicately, that I do hold some pro-choice values, and people dislike it. People feel like Russo. It's everywhere. So people don't always like it in this group, but they're not going to hate me for it. Whereas the other way around, if somebody is like Mo or Suni, you might hate me. You're rolling your eyes like you hate me for having this different belief system, which I think defeats the purpose of our whole conversations. But we're different in this sense. And honestly, if you watch the difference between people, it's drastic, because if somebody is anti or is very pro-life, they get demonized for being this hateful person. And I think that's ridiculous. So
I got a
hey,
question. I got a question. I got to ask it. I want to ask it to Suni. I'm going to present this question to Suni first. How you feel about the death penalty?
I think we should utilize it when it's necessary. So I'm not against it fully, but I think the person who's on death penalty needs to be proven fully guilty.
This is my thing. This is my thing, right? Because I did a social experiment inside here, and because these guys were all hyped up over Roe v. Wade. Everybody knows my stance on abortion. I feel like I'm against it. Like, I'm not against abortion. I don't want to pay for it. You do what you want to do with your body. That's between you and God. God gave you the free will to do whatever you want to do. I don't support it. I'm just not. I just don't want to pay for it, right? But then these people in here, they say things like, "Oh, well, life is sacred, and you shouldn't be able to take a life," but yet they are real big advocates of the death penalty. So it can't be that life is sacred in one instance and not the other. So it's not a moral thing. It comes down to a political thing with some people. They just are against it because they feel like they have to be because it's conservative. It's not about
I don't
saving a
agree
life.
with that at all.
It's about saving a life, that you wouldn't support the death penalty.
I
Nah,
disagree.
it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. You're talking about an unborn child who has done nothing wrong in life getting murdered for no reason. I'm a proponent of the death penalty when it's warranted. You see other countries, they do eye for an eye, they do public hangings, they do shootings, firing squads, and people don't step out of line. I think if your crime warrants the death penalty, you should definitely get it. Now, I don't think they need to hand it out, like candy, like in some states they do. I don't think that that's right.
I understand. Just like I feel the same way. I feel the same way about abortion. That maybe somebody, if a woman's life is in danger of giving birth, or a child that gets raped, you know what I'm saying, is in danger of giving birth to a child and they're a child themselves, then I believe like the death penalty sometimes is warranted.
But here's the thing about that. Like I personally, and I can't say I've done a whole ton of research on this, but you don't really hear too much about somebody's life being in danger, that like knowing that the child's life or the mother's life is going to be in danger that early on. Usually you find that out close to birth or at birth, right? But the body is an amazing thing, and it generally, when the body feels the pregnancy is not viable, it does what's called a miscarriage. So I think what's happening is a lot of women use that as an excuse to justify the abortion. They say, oh, I had health issues, it wasn't going to be healthy for me. So there's
a form of birth control. I totally
right.
get it.
Absolutely.
Now, but the thing is, like I said, it's sometimes it's necessary. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm for or against either one, the death penalty or abortion. I don't have that. People like to use the moral dilemma. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that issue of using a moral dilemma of why I don't agree with it. I just don't agree with it because I don't agree with it. I believe that sometimes things are what they are. Things happen. And I know for myself, I got daughters, right? If somebody did something to my daughters at the age of 10, 11, 12, and they can be pregnant, and they do end up pregnant because something, God forbid, happened to them, I know that even though with my values that I carry, I would say that's not happening. I'm not putting my daughter through that. She's not going to have to, I'm not doing it. She's not meant to do that at this age.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you there. Cash. That's where I struggle with it personally, is in that type of instance, right? Where it's like a child was raped. Because if it was an adult and an adult was raped, I might be like, well, then give the child up for abortion. You know what I mean? But I agree with you that putting a child through giving birth to another child.
I corrected her. She said abortion, adoption.
Oh, I'm sorry. Adoption. My bad. But I agree. Like making a child give birth to another child is traumatizing, and I get that.
I think it's a little bit.
I couldn't tell a woman that.
Go ahead, Cash.
I couldn't tell a woman that's been raped either, though.
You have 1 minute left.
Like if a woman's raped, then that's hard. That's a hard thing to deal with. Again, with how could you imagine having to raise a child and then see that child and that woman not be able to maintain herself or be a mother in that aspect, because you see it. You see this child and it looks like a person who did this horrible thing to you, and you're not you're solely against adoption. You're not giving up babies. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a lot of things that you got to weigh in. But I'm gonna call you guys right back. I'm sorry.
I know. I got you. So the other thing, this again, and I have to clarify my stance every time because I do know it is dicey. Like, I am very against 98% of abortions. I think the idea of using it as a birth control, it's not what I'm talking about. But I am on the path with rape and all these things that weren't their decision. I personally, I get you can put it up for adoption, but I don't believe that's my choice to make. And also, this is not on my top line item. This is the problem for me. Is I agree with Cash. I don't want to be paying for it, but I don't believe this is anywhere near the top 10 of my issues. But I'm very consistent in the fact that I firmly believe my body, my choice across the board. We're going to hit sticky. We're going to get a little sticky if this ever came up, because I was very big against the vaccine mandates. And I think that, and I know we talked last episode, we don't need to get much into it. To me, it's a very similar concept. To me, it's still this medical right. And at the end of the day, Roe versus Wade is about state rights, privacy laws in the state. So Grant Bull did get something right. So why is the original Supreme Court was ruling based on privacy? He got it right. I don't know why he's questioning it. But
I agree with Grant there. No, I agree with his point. It's logically consistent.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, Roe v. Wade or overturning it is about giving you choice. You have the choice to move. You have the choice. You have the choice to get an abortion in a state that doesn't. So
you know what else I wish people would really factor in, Mo? Privacy is not in the Constitution, nor is your health care. So this being a constitutional right, go back and read the Constitution before you open your mouth to say ridiculous shit like that, because nowhere in the Constitution is that listed.
No, well, isn't that what amendments are? Amendments change things.
What amendment says that?
Amendments are exactly that.
What amendment says that?
The amendment discussing privacy laws. I believe it's it's part of the 14th Amendment. I believe. I'd have to double check, but I believe as though there is amendments that talk about it. Again, so I'm a big proponent of talking about this from a state law perspective. At the same time, when people are, I think they're overreaching by saying that they should make it illegal for women to cross state lines, because that takes away then from it being state laws. If a woman wants to travel to a state that will allow her to do something that is her moral compass, okay, then if we are against that, if the pro-life community is against that, then they are confirming that overturning Roe versus Wade is about abortion rights and instead of about state rights.
Okay, so it says
the 14th Amendment.
Yep, it says right here, it may come to your surprise that the Constitution of the United States does not specifically protect your right to privacy.
Exactly. And that's not what the 14th Amendment is about at all.
Let me see. All right, what we're saying,
it says the Fourth Amendment protects the right of privacy against unreasonable searches and seizures by the government.
So there is
the Third Amendment. The Third Amendment protects the zone of privacy to your home. The First Amendment protects your freedom to choose any kind of religious belief and keep that private. The Fifth Amendment is about self-incrimination. The Ninth Amendment is interpreted to justify a broad reading of the Bill of Rights to protect your fundamental right. Oh, here it is. To protect your fundamental right of privacy in ways not provided for in the first 8 amendments. So it's kind of all encompassing right there.
Where was that?
That is the Ninth Amendment.
So that is part of the Constitution. So privacy is a right of the Constitution. To be clear, what were you saying, Cash?
Like that.
No, I agree with what you're saying, but no, man. I mean, I don't get what the big deal is about Roe v. Wade anyway. Why people on either side would have anything to say about it, with the government stepping back, because that's what people wanted in the first place, was just for a little bit less government involvement in the affairs of people. So if you live in a blue state, most likely you're still going to be able to get an abortion because democracy prevailed in your state, and more people, are with it than not. And then on the other side, in a Republican state, it'll be, illegal or heavily restricted, which is what people wanted. So that's what you voted for. Democracy prevails. I don't understand the big upset. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's because people have a lack of understanding of what this Supreme Court decision actually means. I don't think they comprehended all the way. Some people. Your
neighboring mayor over there, Mayor Beetlejuice, wants to give. She's putting a fund aside in Chicago for like hundreds of thousands of dollars to give bonuses to those people and make her state a safe haven for abortions, or make her city a safe haven for abortions, which she doesn't realize is all she's got to do is just stand a person on a street corner and it'll actually take care of the mother and the baby. As long as it's a weekend night, there is a 37% chance they might get killed on a street corner in Chicago. So that'd probably be the easiest way to deal with abortions for Beetlejuice personally. But
she called it an oasis for abortion.
Oasis for abortions, Cash. That's what Beetlejuice said. Oasis for abortions.
Wow,
it's awesome.
So it's like it's like the Club Med of abortion clinics.
That's not a big surprise, but that's the right of the mayor. That is the right of every mayor. People don't know this, but the mayor is like the president of the city. Like, they can literally overrule a presidential.
They can overrule federal and state.
Yeah, they can be like. Yeah, they can literally tell you. They can say, no, screw you. I'm not doing that in my city, and nobody can do anything about it.
Crowder.
Yes, we're gonna do this in my city, and nobody can do anything about it.
Crowder was funny today because when he said Oasis, I forgot he made it a joke about the band, and they made a whole song about abortion. Who's gonna be the one that sucks me out of? Yeah, he did the whole. They did the whole Oasis soundtrack to with words about abortion. God, they are funny. The other thing, if you haven't seen, and I know Suni shared it or Mo shared it, I wasn't sure what it was about. Have you? And I don't know how much access you have to videos in their cache, which it sounds like you're on vacation. You're able to watch all this news. But anyways, the video of the it's very hot. Speaking of that, in hell, the woman has that T-shirt. She is a sister in, I believe, like a Catholic church sister, or whatever. And she did the whole video where she went in front of a bunch of liberals as a liberal and started yelling at the top of her lungs, "If you girls get pregnant, I want you to go to the closest abortion clinic and get that little bastard sucked right out of you." And she did this to prove a point because the crowd went absolutely nuts. Like, just nuts. And she's like, this shows you how sick the pro-abortion crowd is. And it made me like, again, it's the complete extreme of the other side, but it pushes me even more towards this side of like, I may be to a very restrictive point, pro-choice, but shit, those people on the left are really making a real sick claim for how much they are celebrating the concept of abortion. And it's sad. Sister Nancy, that was her name.
Freedom can be a scary thing, bro. It really can, and that's the thing. Like, if you look at our society, you know, people create all kinds of different rules that I'll go by this, but not this, and it's just like it's a conflict. The reason why they state that they'll be for something or against something is a conflict of another topic that is not something that they desire. You know what I'm saying? But yet they agree with it unknowingly because they agree with the morality of the situation. You know, so when these people, for instance, that this liberal lady went in for none or whatever she went in front of them and said this thing, and all these people cheered for it because they've been given the freedom to. That's protected under the Constitution. She could go up in front of a crowd and say that, and if a lot of people agree, well then so be it. People agree, and this is something that gets shown. So it's
Well,
like
she did that.
Where do you draw a line on?
Well, yeah, I don't have.
God gave people the free will to kill. Literally, God gave people the free will to murder somebody if they want to. The first brothers on the planet murdered each other. Well, one murdered the other one and then tried to hide it. You know what I'm saying? Because he had the free will to.
Yeah.
It could have been stopped. Adam told him, "Hey, no killing," because God said no killing. You know, but still, he did it anyway. And that's the problem with freedom. You know, it's a double-edged sword.
And I've got no problem with that woman. Well, she again, her state, she was doing it to prove a point. Like, she did not actually feel that way. She was exposing that free speech. And again, I've got no problem with people cheering it, but it does, because they're allowed to. But it does show how insane they are. And again, Christine's bringing this up, and there's thou shalt not kill. So what's interesting though is if we have a country of religious freedoms, if you look at and we are a Christian country, which also begs a different, deeper question. But in the Jewish religion and the Muslim religion, life does not begin until much later. It begins at either 12 or 14 weeks. So that begs another question. So are we infringing on religious rights? That is true.
In Islam, that's not true. In Islam, life begins as soon as you pray. As soon as you got a baby in you, as soon as that woman doesn't bleed, there's life inside of her.
I know in the Jewish religion, I have been told, hold on. When does life start in the Muslim religion? I know in the Jewish religion is not at conception. I'm looking it up right now. Suni, what's going on with you? Got any topics? Trying to look it up right now. Foundational Jewish texts actually assert the fetus does not attain the status of life until birth, according to the Hebrew Bible. I'm trying to look up Muslim. Okay, so I haven't looked up the Muslim side. but I'll relook it up. I have looked. I thought. Well, I looked up the Jewish side, and somebody told me the Muslim side was the same. So that was my fault for double checking. But fact is, Jewish is enough. Let's have that question. Then it becomes a religious question. Does that change anything? Because then it's religious freedoms. And somebody else, they say murder is murder, but the Jewish religion, according to them, no.
I think it's funny that we like use religion when we need it.
Yeah, so do I.
But that's First Amendment. That's a First Amendment right.
But
No.
First Amendment's rights
I'm-
is your speech. It has nothing to do with your action.
Yeah, I'm talking about to justify an action. People
That's
use
crazy.
religion to justify an action, but or to justify a point. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I think it's questionable. Anyways,
I feel like that this is a distraction from a lot of other things.
Oh.
Man, they got everybody tripping about this Roe v. Wade and not paying attention to the more important things that are going on inside the country and other places that are affecting us around the country. For instance, did you guys know that United States told the Ukraine where to find a Russian battleship, and they sank that Russian battleship, and Russia's pissed off about America telling them where it was at. America said, well, we're not the ones that blew it up. We just told them where it was, which is actually involving yourself inside their war.
100%.
So that's a thing that's happening. Everything is through the roof. Everything is up except for the Dow. That's way down. Looks like the economy is going to crash soon. That's something.
Been
that's
saying that for a while.
right now in the country. Yeah, all kinds of stuff is happening across the country right now, and they got people surrounding abortion clinics or Supreme Court and all this crazy stuff, man. It's all a distraction to keep people from literally being mad about the real things that are happening. And you can't stop somebody if they're going to kill someone. You can't, no matter what you do. If somebody's going to kill the baby, you can't stop it. All you're going to do is have a bunch of dead women. They're going to ban abortion in certain places, fine. A woman's going to take a coat hanger like she used to do back in the early 1900s or something. I don't know. It's never going to stop. But you know what can be stopped? People putting other people in office that are trying to destroy the country. You know what I'm saying?
Which
I don't even know if we can stop that.
I don't know if we can stop that, and that's the whole. And that was one of our topics. Was the 2,000 donkeys? We're changing the title just a bit, just to really quick.
2,000 mules.
Shush! Can't say that.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Nobody cares. So to comment this, Russo brushing off the fact he doesn't understand the First Amendment. Freedom of religion is a key aspect or tenet of the First Amendment. So I do understand it. I was posing a point. Is it valid in this instance? So I do love that you always watch the show, Sergeant Larson. But this is very valid to bring up the First Amendment there, just to be very clear. I love you, though, but I do understand the First Amendment. So yeah, we're talking about. So are you able to download that off of? If anybody's asking where to get it in the comments, I see that BitChute has it. You can't share it. Can't even share it in comments in Messenger. It'll delete. So you have to go to you got to go to a Telegram page and get a link that way. But let's just go straight into that and go ahead.
Real quick. I posted in the chat the cheapest place to get it, because otherwise you have to pay, I think, $20-something is at salemnow.com. And if you use the code Dinesh at checkout, you will get it for $16 instead of $20-something. So just FYI.
And there is,
Charging people for that?
well, there's a lot of free links to get it, to be totally honest. But you want to support them if you can. Don't watch it for free. Support. Got it. Not gonna lie, I gave a little money to the Trump campaign. I feel like that's part of my sale.
I gave my freedom.
So were you able to watch
I
that?
told them that day, I'm gonna get shirts made. I'm gonna get shirts made when I get up out of here, because the country is gonna have the country just looking crazy and on fire. And gonna say I tried on J6.
You
That's
did.
what we're gonna say.
Ministry of Truth offender. Anyways, Cash, we'll have you sign off, give your final words, and then I'll talk to you tomorrow or something.
Final word.
Yeah, because you're about to be cut off.
You guys stay important, man. Like, look at the important things that are happening in the country. I know everybody wants to get up on the soapbox and talk about Roe v. Wade and why it should happen or shouldn't happen. Let that be. You can't stop that. But make people aware about the important things that are happening in this country right now, man. The prices of everything is going up. There's still food missing off the shelves. They're trying to redo another another Kuf 19. They got that in the works right now. I don't know if you guys you've been watching the news. They're talking about surges that are coming up now. It's 10% higher, and there's a new variant and a new vaccine that they're trying to create. It's all kinds of stuff that's happening right now.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
Later, brother. All right, let's get to the show. What do you say? We didn't even do a countdown. We didn't do the song and dance. We will do this, though. I'm not going to read the thing. I'll do that at the very end of the episode, but we're going to do this 19 seconds. That's right, episode 98. Let's get started 30 minutes into the show. We had Cash. He's not calling back. I'm shutting him down. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. From this point, we already talked, obviously, about Supreme Court needing protection. To me, this is insane. It's a complete assault on our government, our chain of command, etc. But let's talk about 2,000 donkeys. What do you say?
You go first, Suni, because I really enjoyed your opinion.
2,000 donkeys is a slap in the face to the American people.
Why is that?
Know why?
Yeah.
Well, because they didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. On top of that, nothing is being done. No one's taking this information to the Attorney General. No one's submitting this as articles of impeachment. This video just came out to the public. These people have known about this forever. On top of that, Republicans knew. They knew because they hired someone to go watch those poll boxes. And the guy said he would testify. So what the fuck is up? It's a waste of time. It's a slap in the face. And it's just causing people to remain complacent and do nothing. I was talking to Billy Primpe the other day. Well, people can go take this to the sheriff and do what? Thank you, Red Pill. There were more ballots found today. They're not arresting these people. So what are we supposed to do besides sit and look at a movie that makes us feel good, completely absorb Republicans over and over? I don't know how many people watched it. Republicans didn't know. Yes, the fuck they did. It was a waste of time. And it actually irritated me. I was talking to Mo. I'm like, what was the point of putting this out? For what? To tell us what we already knew? Okay, next.
What about the court of public opinion? Because I think that's where it starts. Because you've got a half, well, I wouldn't say half, 40% of the country that looks down on any of us. And this, I think, validates, even for me, I was starting to, I swayed away from the conversation. I said, you know what, take away any issues with ballots or anything like that. But fact is, the misinformation leading up to it, the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop, the on repeat, making sure that Trump was slammed for things that he did not do. That to me was enough to affect an election. Go ahead.
Who is going to be swayed by this movie except for conservatives?
And I agree with you, but as I've said, I told Liberal Jay, and he's like, I hate Dinesh D'Souza, but he's like, I'll try to watch it. To me, this is one of those ones, like, I can hold somebody's head up and force them to watch all the stuff we've had before this, and they can find a way to spin out of it. This one, to me, is impossible to find a way to spin out of it. It's got the footage. It's got the unless they can. Now it's on the side of the how can you disprove this? Meaning somebody on the left has to be willing to speak up and actually give reasons why this is factually incorrect. This is one of those ones that if you have any semblance of a brain, you will say this is very hard to disprove.
I disagree.
Real quick, Suni. So I'm going to say this: I actually liked. I liked that they put this together. I like that they showed videos. I like that they explained it a little bit more simpler than they did at the what is it called when they had that big symposium. Okay, because that was like way over everybody's head. I like that they dumbed it down. What I don't like is that they brought together Larry Elder, Sebastian Gorka, Charlie Kirk, and who was the other guy? Another guy. Prager, and then somebody else, right? All of them work for Salem. All of them are on the conservative Republican side, except for Elder, he's a libertarian. But I wished they would have brought some more dissenting opinions into that group of people that was going to sit and watch it and discuss it. And the reason why is because, and I'm not talking about like a fat blue-haired liberal who has like 30 fucking bumper stickers on their car. I'm talking about like a professional, you know, liberal who maybe has a radio show, somebody who's in their same line of work, but on the other side, right? Because I really think that in order for other people to listen, you had to bring that crowd there with their people being there.
I agree, but
bring the Whoopi Goldberg. Bring
but,
Whoopi
but
Goldberg.
they won't come. That's the problem, and I
How
get
do you
it.
know?
I 100% agree with you. I like, and honestly, I think there's a very small number of people you can bring. First off, like in your head, you go, what about a Tulsi Gabbard or a Joe Manchin? If they bring them in there, that could be career suicide. So they're going to avoid that like the plague. Even if Joe Manchin becomes, it's still career suicide. So you've just got the outspoken Republicans willing to do it. The Whoopi Goldbergs would never consider it. The people that would, I do have some. I think Bill Maher is one of the people that would consider watching this. I don't know how much he costs.
But see, this is why when I was like commenting about kind of the cheesiness of it, because his wife produced it, this is why you get a fire producer, maybe somebody from over at Project Veritas, who's not afraid to get down and dirty with it. And what they should have shown, in addition to people sticking ballots inside the ballot box, is they should have shown somebody like Project Veritas making phone calls to these people to say, hey, we want to invite you. We want you to give us your opinion on what we're about to show you, and show that to the world what the people that they support are saying, and they don't want to see it. You know what I mean? They should have really gone all out to really expose them, and I feel like they didn't go far enough.
I agree.
You know,
to be charging $30 for this shit, bro.
Yeah.
I told people to support, but I understand people not wanting to waste $20 on this. You can wait until this comes out on YouTube or find somebody who has it and purchased it and watch it. It was a waste of time.
Yeah. And I get it. I get it that we should be supporting, you know, conservatives. You know, Bryson said it last night at his live, like, oh, I'm going to pay for it. I'm not going to watch it for free. But at the same time, I want people to see it. As many faults as I can find with it, I still think people need to see it. You know, I really wish they would take some money and go into these inner cities and rent out a movie theater and put out some free food. Because, you know, people in the inner city, Blacks, Hispanics, we love free food. If you get a fire buffet going and you put, I don't care what the hell you're showing, I'll show up. To, you know what I mean?
Barbecue,
like that's
bro. Bring some ribs down
barbecue. There. Bring some ribs,
some ribs
beer,
and potato salad and macaroni and cheese. We up in there.
Some beer, rent out, you know, whatever. Get somebody to donate their theater and show it.
I think that's a great idea, but I think you're right, because here's the deal. I do think it was very good. And you have to look at it from the perspective, how much was he working with these people with the footage? How much were they reviewing it? How much were they doing the cell phone data? Like you said, he didn't do enough on the production side. Have a better producer, because ultimately the back work that was done, because people keep saying like, why did this take so long? It's 4 million minutes of footage. And there's a lot. It's a lot of footage, and you're tracking cell phone data the same way the CDC and the government had to do things. So this was not an easy undertaking. Also, why I understand a little bit of the cost, why they're charging, because they know they can A, get people to watch, and B, to get people to support. But at the same time, you're right. They were missing that element of, because in my mind, I just gave up already. I was like, there's no lefty that's going to watch this. I think Bill Maher might be one of them. Bill Maher actually had a very interesting point on his show about abortions this last week. He goes, he actually used the words, I did my own research. Turns out other countries are much stricter than the United States. And he goes, and it turns out women are actually more pro-life than men. He goes, I had no idea about these things. He goes, abortion rights are much worse in France, Spain, Italy, all these places. So it's kind of like, I think Bill Maher might be that tipping point voice, but he's pissing kind of his own side off at this point. True Vote was on Tucker, and he told them not to. Yeah, so I know that too, and I'm curious about that. And that to me makes me believe even more on this aspect. And let me know if you guys agree. The fact that even Tucker, who has been willing to pretty much say anything, is listening to his higher ups or himself believes it, that he can't talk about this movie that has been taken off of every social media channel. I had an election video with Cash from November of 2020 scrubbed off of YouTube for community guidelines this week, the same day that, or the day before that movie came out. So clearly something is like, all right, we have to shuffle this. So I think, to me, this is scary, to the thought that even Tucker Carlson is saying, I can't talk about this documentary.
I saw a meme today and I posted it on my Instagram and it said, forget 2000, you know what? I want to see the movie, the sequel, 2000 Arrests.
Facts.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think that's what makes me the most angry is that between this, between the Hunter Biden, between Hillary Clinton, all the other people, no legal action ever happens. And that's what's so frustrating about this. And that's what makes people think we're all getting played. Everything's a big show. Everything's political theater, because no action actually results in anything. At least we don't feel like it does. You know, I mean, like maybe little by little information starts to come out and people start to wake up. But I'm sorry, I want to see a big ass arrest. Okay. I want to see Hillary getting pulled out of her New Hampshire, wherever the hell she lives, mansion by her toenails. Okay.
Yeah.
I do.
I agree. I agree. What happens is the morale of the country is extremely low. And this documentary contributes to that. I'm sorry. People are, once again, okay, we know what happened. Okay, when are you going to do something?
Mm-hmm.
So again, and I 100% understand your point. I do think the more information that's out there, the better, even if it takes a while to squeeze through. But for example, Grant Bull talking about legal action, losing every case. This movie, which I know that you'll never watch, explains it. Fact is, and I again have said this from day one, once the vote got past the ballot box, it's a legal vote. There's no way to backtrack it. Georgia throws away their signature slips when they check it. So it even explained in the movie that, again, this is why the ballots, an audit doesn't do anything. And some of the legal cases are very hard to press. The only way legal cases can be pressed is by doing what this movie did. The question is, will they do anything? Because now you have evidence that would change it, but that takes a year to aggregate. Go ahead, Mo.
But Larry Elder said in that same thing, he said just the fact that they're going up to that ballot box with several ballots in their hand is illegal.
Correct.
So right then and there, you can get them on at least that, you know? And I'm pretty sure these people aren't clean. I'm sure they didn't go after, you know, the homemaker mom next door that's got rollers in her hair and she's, you know, selling Tupperware and Avon. No. They went after people that probably have drug problems, back child support. Come on, government. You know how to get people when you want to get people.
Exactly. They use the same tactics they used in January 6th. They use it in this.
Mm-hmm.
They use it to solve Sequoia Turner's murder. They can do something, but they're not. It's pretty simple.
Yep. And then here you go. Again, independent audits. I don't know if you said this before I explained why the audits don't work, but if you did not hear me the first time. So here's the problem. The votes look valid once they get past the ballot box. You dumbass. Okay. So, what's Grant talking about? He's on drugs. He himself was a donkey. He delivered them. He's like, I get to stuff something in something and I get to do bad things to Mr. Orange. Sweet. What's funny? Use gloves in the ballots. The glove thing was weird. So that was, I think, only for the, and they harped on that a little too long, but that was only for the runoff, I think, for Stacey Abrams, because they were doing some kind of forensic checks.
You know what I thought was upsetting is when and I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody who hasn't seen it. And by the way, no matter what we're saying, please go see it and like develop your own opinion. Don't take our word for it.
Do it. Do it.
Ruin it. Okay, so here we go. So when they were talking about the old folks' homes and first of all, y'all, when they showed that one little old lady that she was just like, I said, how this bitch just alone, how this bitch cast a vote? Come on now, she's a vegetable, okay? But then they had another lady that was like kind of, you know, 2 steps from Heaven's Gate, and she wasn't looking too hot. But then the other lady said, they made me vote. I didn't want to vote and they made me vote. And then they went into talking about how it's a problem in nursing homes where these people that are like, you know, crazy liberals take these jobs and force these old people to do shit like this. Like, that's scary to me. I don't know.
I find this funny. They're sending out DVDs if you order a DVD. So I guess you can watch. I didn't even know we did
you can buy it.
DVDs.
Yeah, you can buy it on Salem.
So just lastly, because I don't want to harp on too much, because we're gonna have a shorter show than usual. Grant, I will beg of you to just watch it. I want to know exactly your response. I would love you to. If I knew who you were, I would send you the free link just to force it to you to watch it and to give feedback. Because I
Inbox me.
What's
message me, Grant, on Let's Talk Darling on Instagram, or if you don't want to do that, let's talk darling at gmail.com. I'll send you the link.
And I because that's ultimately what I want. I tried watching the movie, not from the Sunni perspective of like, what the fuck is this going to do? And I get that 100% because it probably won't. And that's unfortunate. But I tried watching it from I go, how can I poke holes in this? And the only ways I can poke holes on this is if I am able to say that their data is bad. These pings are bad, but they did a hell of a job selling it. So now it would be in my corner to disprove it. But everything else from the pings to the video is very hard, and the math is behind it. So I would love to find a way to split it to disprove it. That's it. I'm curious. So,
I didn't watch the movie with those intentions in mind. I watched it just to watch it. In the first 30 minutes, I wanted to turn it off. I really did. I wanted to turn it off, but I kept watching it and I finished it. I wish it was better. I wish there was actually actions showing that there are things happening, but it wasn't.
You bring up a very valid point, Grant. It does not say anything about Democrat versus Republican.
Well, however, what we didn't really say is the only person throughout this entire documentary who blamed Republicans for doing the exact same thing was Dinesh D'Souza. Just saying. Everyone else in that documentary painted Republicans as the innocent party. So I will give him respect for that. And he actually showed an incident in North Carolina where Republicans were ballot harvesting. Republicans aren't innocent. And we can't keep blaming the left.
But what I will say on this election is if you remember back to the vote, the one thing that people brought up that can't be proven to be illegal was that there was a mass amount of numbers in Georgia and Pennsylvania that had nobody else voted for on the ticket except for the presidential election. Why? In some areas that went to the right, some areas that went to the right on their local official ended up not going that way for the president. So it didn't match up. So you had that. And then at the same token, remember the shift that happened past 1 a.m. This is where a lot of the ballot boxes were dumped in. So, yes, it did not say Democrat or Republican. However, the numbers do. Cash is calling again. He is apparently very lonely. We're down to our last two topics anyway, so we're going to be a short night.
Are we going to show the Trump clip?
Yeah, let's show that next, actually. Can you pull that up? What do you want?
You know.
Are you bored in there tonight? Did your boyfriend not make you dinner?
You know what, man? You gonna stop playing with me like that for a week? Get out of here. I'm gonna make you my boyfriend.
You're not tall enough, Cash. I like my men tall.
How tall I am.
Yeah, I know. You lay on your back in the fan. Yeah. Okay, so
I'll show you one of the 2,000 mules.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we are live.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
Oh, sorry, everybody. Bruce was always saying gay jokes, so I gotta outdo him.
Oh man. All right. So the next thing we're doing right now is we are going to be showing Trump bringing out the Johnson & Johnson owners at a campaign stop. So soon he's going to play this real quick and then we'll go back to feedback. So hang tight.
Thus are some friends of mine. They wanted to say, I said, don't come tonight. Let's go another time. It's pouring. Woody Johnson, a great gentleman. You ever hear of Johnson & Johnson? He owns the place. I tell you what, this guy's got cash like nobody's got cash. Johnson & Johnson, his incredible wife, Suzanne Johnson, whose family is very, very close, and she comes from Ukraine. So she has a little bit of a hard time with it, but she's an incredible woman.
Yeah, Johnson & Johnson, so cool, so Pfizer and Moderna, okay?
And look, I guess in a certain way, I'm the father of the vaccine because I was the one that pushed it.
Respect to the MAGA crowd who just stood there like, isn't Johnson & Johnson in the news now for something else? Can you let me know in the comment section? Don Juan, the great vaccine salesman, just can't stop himself from covering for Big Pharma. If you were smearing me for noticing this a year ago and you want to apologize, you don't have to. I forgive you. But you would look better in a God Bless hat, let's be honest.
He's funny. I still can't believe you missed a show with him, Suni. Still can't believe that.
Well, we talk, so we're I don't have to be on the show. I would rather talk to somebody behind the scenes, and then when they're like, "Yo, let's get on the live," I'm gonna get on live with you. But I like for things to organically happen. Listen, I'm still mad I missed it, but you keep bringing it up, and it makes me feel bad. Okay, I missed it. I get it.
Did you? So that was Anomaly, Cash. Did you know Suni missed a live with Anomaly?
I don't know who Anomaly is.
It's just some long-haired white dude. It's all right. No big deal. Dream rare. Anyways, so
No
what do you
big deal, but you keep throwing it in my face that I missed it.
So, all right. So this has been, and this is why, as I've stated, I don't think DeSantis is going to run for president. This is why I'm not a huge fan of Trump being of running for president. This is why I'm a fan of Rand Paul. But besides that point, what do you think about your boy Donald J. Trump being so pro daddy vaccine?
He's always been pro-vaccine. He said that from the jump.
Not
I
true.
know.
From the jump, he was the one that was support. He's warp speed.
That's not true.
right there.
No, he was one of the
a lot of people.
he was one of the biggest anti-vaxxers there was.
He ran on that in 2016.
Really?
Really?
I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know that. I just know that once this vaccine came out, he has been gangbusters for the vaccine.
Well, he's got something in it, so I'm not.
So what does that
surprised.
say? Trump autism. So he used to say. So Trump did back in 2016 talk about autism, the link between MMR and the A word in kids.
Mhm.
So
2007 also. It's been a long time.
So 2007 is back when he said that. That was a long time ago. Okay.
But you got to remember, this is okay. Look, man, money runs everything. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the president of the United States or the Pope. You know what I'm saying? The man is a politician. He has a job to do as a politician. All right. Now, at the time of the vaccine, when he was pushing the vaccine, I don't know what his stances was before COVID, but when COVID hit, he pushed the vaccine. That's all I can say. I can't say if he didn't, agree with Big Pharma or agree with vaccinations, prior to that, but people changed their beliefs. 2016, I was still technically a Democrat. So shit, I can't knock him for changing his opinion, but I will say that was the only thing that he's doing right now is causing people to speculate and rethink how they feel about him, because a lot of people are, anti-V. You know what I'm saying? And to see him go up there and pushing it after a lot of his supporters and people that came out and spoke for him, big name people that come out and speak for him, said all kind of things about the vax, and not just the vax, but about the whole pandemic as a whole. So for you to come out and you're coming out with the people who had the one that made your heart swell up, and you're supporting them and pushing that.
Well, they all did that.
It's questionable.
Yeah, I think at this point, I always said I got the point behind him pushing it during the election, because at the time, not all of the data was out. We all had our suspicions based on common sense and looking at very basic data, and then so we all had this opinion. But now, and he needed that at the time to push that he was the guy spearheading it. It would help him with numbers and votes. And now that he's out and he's 2.5 years away from possibly running again, he doesn't have to be pushing it. He can be honest about its failures. Hell, even Bill Gates did an interview a week ago where he said that he goes, well, it turns out it didn't work as we planned. We hoped that it did. So even he's admitting it. So how is it that Trump can't just pay attention to A, his base, or B, common sense that actually looks at this from a non-politician angle? And now it just gets dirty when I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
That's
bro. That's politics for you.
What do you
but see,
say, Mom?
that's what's crazy is out of all people, Trump doesn't have to play the politics game. People
Exactly.
liked him without it. Like we liked the Trump that was losing millions of dollars by having to give up all his businesses just to become the president. Right?
Yeah.
And now what's going on? What's going on? I don't know.
I just don't get it. I just, to me, and then we talked about this offline, Cash. That's why I said how big of a Rand Paul fan I am, is because he's been standing up. He has been everything that our belief systems have been. He has been standing up for in the last 2 years. He's the only one that truly is fighting for this independent-minded concept for the American people, including the vaccine, including freedom of information, including knowledge to the American people, and also making sure this woke bullshit that's coming out is no longer. So that's why to me there is no better choice as of right now for the Republican nominee to be Rand Paul. I just don't think it's Trump right now.
I don't know. I got my own opinions about Trump. You know, I like him, but at the same time, I'm very, very, very pissed off at him personally.
Grant Bull, literally. So I have been talking about my biggest issue with Trump since has been vaccine since day one. I never said he was a con man. I still don't think he's a con man. I think he's becoming the politician that we don't need in office. God, Grant doesn't. Can you imagine being Grant's husband?
Grant's gay?
No, he's married.
Oh, wow.
He says, I don't know. Who knows? What does this one say? Shaleb. When will y'all learn Trump
that
is
says Caleb.
Caleb? I like Caleb better. When will y'all learn Trump is spineless? He will flip-flop on positions and his values when it suits him. That's the thing. I don't think he's this is not his MO. I don't think it's been his MO until truly the vaccine is really the worst level of it, in my personal opinion.
Nah, I disagree.
I gotta say this, bro.
Disagree 100%.
For January 6th, bro, this man pardoned 250 people. A lot of them was the liberals that he talked about, and he pardoned them. While everybody else is still sitting in here. So that's one of my gripes that I got with him. Number two, shit. I mean the whole hanging around and pushing these people like Mike Lindell and Bannon and all these other guys, man. Freaking Sidney Powell irritates my soul now. All of these people, bro, that was in his corner that was saying all these things that pushed me to believe certain things. Now all of a sudden they're nowhere to be found. He ain't even really talking to him no more, and there's nothing to be said. And we had to literally go be pissed off talking from inside here. People doing interviews. They had people on CNN and all types of stuff from inside here, from DC jail. And then all of a sudden, because a couple people in here got lawyers that are the same lawyers that the big guy got. So he comes out and says that he's going to pardon, if he gets reelected, that he's going to pardon all of us, or he hinted at it, right? Like, you don't play with people like that, bro. Don't play like that, because now that pissed me off even more, because you could have pardoned everybody before any of this even happened.
Before he left.
Anything happened, when they were first talking about locking people up, you could have, before they even put the cuffs on people, you could have said, I'm doing a blanket pardon for anybody in connection with January 6th. You know what I'm saying?
But there was, and I'm not,
broke any federal laws.
and I'm not okay. I was going to say I'm not going to stand up for against that decision, but there was not all the information out on who the bad. What if there was some bad, like truly bad actors that he would have let off on that? And I'm not standing by Trump in any way.
They would have got off anyway. So does it really matter, because the bad actors that were there are already out of jail? They're already out.
A lot of them are already out.
Frederico's out. He got out. He was one of the first people that got out. So you could get out. You can help. I don't know how he did it, but Frederico, he had some of the worst charges of everybody. And the man is not, from what I know, he's not testifying against nobody or nothing like that. That he's out of here. He's gone. And he was a part of the White House, shit with Trump. He was over there with Trump, knows him personally. You feel me? So it's like, man, I hate the politics of it all. That's why I told you my message is changed big time. Big time. My whole stance has changed big time. With a lot of things, bro. A whole lot of things. I don't like
anti-government.
Let's
go.
I feel like a lot of people got played. A lot of families are broken up right now because of the politics. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Let me be specific to Grant because he's not intelligent enough to grasp what I meant by bad actors. I meant Trumpers as well. I wasn't just talking about Antifa. I meant bad people. I mean the Trumpers that did actually have nefarious plans to do more. So again, should I speak more slowly, Grant, so you can understand what the fuck I'm saying? Anyways.
Yeah, he ain't talking about the people that went inside the Capitol and just wanted to steal shit, like they were stealing fucking paintings off the wall and breaking chandeliers. Ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the people that went there to peacefully protest, got attacked by police officers, seen women getting beaten up, and decided they're going to stand against the police officers that were being corrupt, which is the right thing to do. Them people I support all day long. You know, I ain't with the whole violence, but I guarantee you that if you get violent with me or anybody around me and I see you being violent, and even though I'm against violence, I'm also for stopping the violence with my own form of violence, which is called self-defense. So that's just what it is, and that's exactly what happened on January 6th. So people can have their own stance, and that's why I say I switched my notion about BLM, because BLM is the same thing. A lot of them people were there to peacefully protest. Then you had people, the equivalent to the people that were breaking chandeliers and stealing paintings. We call them Antifa on the other side, and they're the ones that set it off at the BLM protests and made BLM look bad. The same way that they made the violent people that were there that day that weren't there, the thievery people that were there that day made MAGA look bad. You know what I'm saying? On J6. So it's the same exact thing. My stance changed about it all.
I feel you. All right, you're at 13:30, which means they're gonna give you the 1 minute warning. Do an official log off on this one, do official sign off. The one thing I was gonna say is back to Grant. The reason I give him attention is because it's entertaining, because it gives us something. So we're not in an echo chamber, so we can call out how, when we do the anti-echo chamber, when it bounces back to us with logic, it shows how nonsensical the other side is, and it is something to talk about. Suni, we'll come back to you after. Cash, give your final words. You're down to about 1 minute.
Yo, at the end of the day, I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what your political stance is on issues that pertaining to things that's got to do with like morals. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, atheist. I don't care if you identify as a man or identify as a woman or who you love or what you do with your genitals. That's not my business, right? None of that is. My business is keeping our country good, making America the greatest place to live that it ever could be, and only we are going to be the ones that can do that.
You have 1 minute left.
My mission is unity, man. Bring everybody together. We can talk about the issues and we can have our opinions about the issues. That's all good and well, but we can't be divided because of the issues. At the end of the day, we still have to stand united as Americans against corruption in all ways, shapes, and forms. So that's what it should be about. That's what the meaning to me of truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. Let the truth do that. The truth is we got to unite, and we can't be divided. That's the only way to save this place, man. So I love you guys. Unite, don't fight. Be a street light. Only you can be the change that you wish to see in the world. When you get too stressed out, remember to pray back. Because without God, everything will fall apart. I promise you. And I love you guys. Cash Kelly signing out. Love you.
Take it easy, brother. Later. All right. Okay. Where was I? Where do we see on this one? I don't know this. Suni, you were about to say something before, weren't you?
I'm just saying, bro. I said this shit and people lost their fucking minds. He compared it to BLM with January 6th. I literally compared these motherfuckers blocking traffic, and there was every excuse in the world. But everybody just sat here and said, I agree. Come on, man. All I'm saying is be logically consistent. Cash has a lot of the same views that I have, and not one person challenged him. Period. That's all I'm saying. I like that he has this view. I like that he sees the government for what it is. It is actually very refreshing to hear him talk like this.
You're talking to Russo, because I know you ain't talking to me.
I'm talking to Russo, and I'm talking to everybody in the chat that is running their mouth.
I don't agree that I disagree with the concept of BLM. Him and I have talked about it. I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole, but I disagree. I think there was a drastic difference because there was a misguided, nefarious cause behind some of the BLM riots, and they were also portrayed very differently as well. We had one event in 2 years. One event that was the quote unquote deemed the worst day in the history of the United States of America that still did not have the vitriol and fuel behind it that the BLM, and I get that the fact that it probably could have been started by cops, could have been started by police, but at the same time, the police were already more aggressive because when you, and this is my disagreement, if you look at the insurrection, it didn't start out with a bunch of Trumpers going in and being like, we're going to steal and rob the place. It started out differently.
Proud Boys did the same shit that Antifa did. You guys
Like
just
what?
agree with their cause. What do you mean? Why are you acting like Proud Boys didn't purposely go out to find Antifa members to fight, especially in Cali?
Absolutely. No, I'm not
All
disagreeing
those
with,
events.
I'm not
Come
disagreeing
on.
with that. I'm saying the actual riot started out very different. Maybe next time I'll bring Cash back on because to specify what I'm saying here is the riots were such. They were started by violence and by destruction that happened by a bunch of ignorant assholes that decided to start things by tearing down businesses, starting fires, and then the police were called. Once the police were called, it continued the violence because the police probably did some shitty stuff. The difference with the insurrection is the quote unquote insurrection is they were headed to a place. No violence was started. No violence was started until it was pushed back on them. There was no. They weren't even walking up the street doing what they did at the 2016 inauguration, where there was violence and what am I talking about? Violence and destruction in the streets of DC, where they bust out windows. It's very, very different to me. I don't think comparing the two is fair.
But BLM had very peaceful protests.
They had some, yeah, absolutely.
They had a lot of peaceful protests that weren't televised.
But we knew the percentages. It was, and I even talked about the percentages. I think it was something along the lines, if I remember correctly, 9 or 13% had damage involved. That's still 1 out of 10. We had one protest.
I just disagree.
We had one protest.
I'm not going to demonize a group. I don't agree with BLM. I don't agree with their cause. But I know there were a lot of peaceful protests that got amped up, no different than January 6th. You can't demonize a whole group because of bad actors that came there to amp them up. There were a lot of peaceful protests that BLM put on before they got televised and showed us the bad, is all I'm saying. We can't pick and choose when we want to use media narratives. That's a media narrative.
I will 100% agree. What is this about? 30 million in damages? That's not, they actually said it was $2 million in damages, and most of it was cleaning fees, by the way, which I don't know how you stack up cleaning fees to $2 million. They got to pretty much name their own price for their own contractors. And we've seen the pictures on the inside. There's not that much damage in comparison to a Portland federal building being destroyed and be put on fire. I think that it's insane to damage it there. Please find me the stat that says it was $30 million in damages, because I no. The Capitol Architects at 30 million. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then, because I know the initial number was 2.1, which I even thought was ridiculous. As somebody that was there on the outside, heard of people on the inside.
In a peaceful protest for BLM. Exactly. I know a lot of people. Look, I'm black. I know hella people that went to very peaceful protests.
Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing
regarding
with
BLM. But the only thing we talk about is BLM and Antifa burning shit.
I will agree that there was 90% peaceful protest, but the ones that weren't were really bad, and they still are deemed mostly peaceful protests.
I'm not seeing that amount on anything.
No.
What, the 30 million?
Well, okay, hold on just a second.
Plus, they revised their numbers once Biden was in. 1.5 million in damage.
Oh, okay. But listen to what this. Listen to what the 30 million they're estimating. Providing mental health services to people, increase security, repair historical statues, and other art damaged in the riot.
Money laundering.
Mental health.
So that shows you how much has been fabricated on top of it, because every single article, if you look before that, and by the way, this is an NPR article, everything from let's see, MSN, NBC Washington, 1.5 million, 1.5 million.
Send it to me, Caleb. Send it to me,
1.5.
Caleb.
2.5. What it is, it's an estimate. So they said that they estimate that it'll exceed 30
man,
million based on all those factors that I said
I can buy
earlier.
actual property damage. Did you send it to my IG, Caleb? Caleb.
It's talking about actual property damage. I would love to see this. Bring it up.
You should invite Caleb on sometime. He's a very articulate young man.
Only if I can call him Caleb.
He's cool. No, I like Caleb. He's very smart.
He's not going to let you call him that.
Okay. But yeah, we're forgetting also about the I mean, if it's mental health, if it's all these things, what about all the buildings? I mean, the Portland one was the most egregious. It was just literally torched on fire when it was a federal building. They didn't have any, they're not including the concept of mental health for those police officers that were there, or mental health for the people that were saving people that were getting out of a fire. I mean, and that building had to be fully rebuilt, and that's not 1.5 million. It's like, be consistent. I am being consistent. And again, I would love to have you on, Caleb. That's me challenging you is not being upset. I'm just saying I'm being consistent. And the fact is they were in actual property damage from the BLM riots of the Summer of Love is over $1 billion.
The Summer of Love.
Architect.
That was a
January
doozy.
6th.
Yeah, I love this. Pelosi and Biden's wife were and there was a U2 concert in the Ukraine. What the fuck?
The George Floyd riots cost an estimated $2 billion.
It's gone up. All right, I remember what.
I don't believe that. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know, if you think about how many cities were protesting, I don't know. I kind of do believe that one, but I don't. Again, mental health services.
you don't, Suni, you don't believe that the riots of the summer were $2 billion? I mean, Kenosha alone, after Jacob Blake, which that'll be one of our last topics. Kenosha alone, there was, I want to say something like 15 buildings that were caught on fire. You had car dealerships. I mean, these are massive insurance losses. These are millions of dollars just in one city on one night. I mean,
no, I don't believe it was 1 billion. No.
2 billion.
I don't even believe it was that. I'll put it in millions, but I'm not. No, I'm going to be fair across the board. If I don't think that this Capitol thing deserves 2 million, I'm not going to give up my position just because it's something that I believe in. I don't think that, 2 billion, 1 billion is needed for repairs. No, absolutely not.
Yeah. What? Wait, but so you're saying, I'm sorry, I'm confused. So Caleb said that it was 30 million.
30 million, I'm sorry.
Right, 30 million, not 2. Okay.
I was talking about the George Floyd stuff.
You don't believe that?
No, I do not believe it amounted to no $1 billion. Fuck no.
But you believe the Capitol did?
No, I just said I don't believe that either amount is correct.
Oh, you don't? Okay. I was just trying to clarify because I was confused right there.
No.
Gotcha.
So it's based off insurance claims is where they got to 2 billion, which I will say people always are going to inflate their insurance claims. However, some people are not going to file them because they don't know how. So I think it somewhere comes back, but it's insurance losses, how they figure it. This is actually accountable. Like there's accountability on it based on the things that were damaged that people claimed, etc. Came up to $2 billion is what it will cost insurance companies. Whereas the Capitol riot, they're allowed to essentially just put a value on what's inside, how much they pay their cleaning people, what something costs on an insurance level, again, for a famous piece of artwork. I'll take the 1.5 million or whatever they say it is for the Capitol because there are some historic items. I'll go, you know what? It is a sacred building. I'll take the 1.5 million. I'm also taking the 2 billion as well. And I think there is a drastic fucking difference between the two.
I mean, my question is, how much have we lost? I don't give a damn about the Capitol. I don't give a damn about cities. I mean, as people with this economy, with this bullshit, with this president,
we're paying for it all. Exactly. We're paying for it all. So why are people complaining? It's coming out of your pocket. So if you're going to complain about that one, then you better be complaining about the Capitol. That's all I'm saying, because we're footing the bill. It's not the government. It's not the insurance companies. It's the American people.
Agreed.
I'm pissed.
So somebody just put this in the comment box, and it has been fact checked.
Yeah.
Bill
he does
Gates
have
has
COVID.
the vid. But
Yeah.
thank God he's already said, thank God he's got the vaccine. It's kept his symptoms mild.
Hey, you guys want to hear a crazy story? Do we have time for like story time really quick?
Go for it.
So, and this is relating to COVID. And I know Suni loves talking about COVID, but this is a funny story, Suni. So, my goddaughter, I'm not going to say what school she goes to, but she goes to a university. She plays softball for that university. She did not get schmaxinated, as Russo would say, but the majority of the girls on her team did get it, but 3 girls did not. Right, so those 3 girls have to get tested every week for the seed, and they were doing a conference. I guess a couple days ago, or they were leaving for a conference a couple days ago. Literally getting on the bus, and one of the girls tested positive for COVID. Now, the girl that tested positive for COVID was not one of the unvaccinated ones. She was a vaccinated one. Okay. And so all of a sudden, they tell the 3 unvaccinated girls, you got to get off the bus. You can't go on the trip. And they make the one that got sick quarantine, right? So they go tell those girls, you guys have to go and get tested before you can get back on this bus. Okay. Now, my goddaughter, she has been testing negative every week, no problem. I think she said, I can't remember why, but they ultimately, even though she didn't test positive, she couldn't get on the bus and go on the trip because she could potentially get COVID, and they weren't sure if she was the one, because she's unvaccinated, that spread it to the one that is vaccinated that had the COVID. It was like, I'm not even telling the full story, but it was the craziest thing. And I was sitting there listening to my best friend tell me, and I said, the mental gymnastics that you have to do to understand that type of reasoning is crazy to me.
Mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling to me. Like, and the fact that it's still going on after it's like the lid is
This
already
is
been
what
blown off.
it's one gigantic Abbott and Costello routine. Who's got COVID? Well, no, what's got COVID on second? No,
Right.
I don't know. Is on third with COVID. I mean, that's
Right.
literally what it's at this point. It's so ridiculous.
And I
So-
feel like they're waiting on her to test positive so that they can say, see, because you're unvaccinated, you're passing it around.
So dumb. Jesus, so dumb. We have a lot of our viewers right now that actually have the vid. I know I've talked to a couple friends, a couple people that watch. I know some people in even Nikki's family are battling it as well. So I mean, they're they got their things, and it's definitely made a resurgence. But so does the flu and the cold and all different times of the year. So let's just see where it goes. So final topic of the evening: Jacob Blake. No charges. He's not filing charges on the what's that?
Jacob Blake.
Jacob
That's
Blake
his
is
name?
Jacob Blake, the guy from no, 2 different stories. The Jacob Blake is not pressing charges against the police officer, thankfully. The one that he tried to fight, stab, whatever, all that good stuff. Dave Chappelle's attacker is pleading not guilty to 4 misdemeanor charges, which I think it's hilarious that he's pleading not guilty when it's clear that you attacked me on stage. But the bigger issue is the fact that the district attorney is refusing to push felony charges on a man that attacked another man on a stage with a deadly weapon. It was a fake gun that apparently also had a knife attached to it. Dave Chappelle is rightfully so furious at this. It's setting the precedent of, again, we don't punish crimes. So what are your guys' thoughts on these 2 topics?
I'm kind of indifferent. I don't really care about what's going on with that. I mean, honestly, like, I think
I got to do a replay of Suni. I have one of these things. So Suni was like, as you were about to talk, Mo, she's like,
sorry. I'm sorry, Suni. Okay, go ahead, Suni. Go ahead.
I don't have anything to say. I just said I don't think. I don't think about this situation at all. I have no clue what's going on with it.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Jacob Blake in was it Wisconsin?
Well,
What
I am.
happened?
I was two different stories. One, Jacob Blake isn't pressing charges against police. To me, that's a no shit.
Duh.
And then
This guy, no, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I made a graphic of people being like, "Suni, did you see what happened to Dave Chappelle?" And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Okay, he got tackled. All right.
See, I think you should give a shit. And I'm going to say why. Because there's going to be a point you're going to be back in the United States, and you might be speaking on a stage. Same with Mo. Same with me. Same with Cash. Same with anybody that's either a comedian or speaks on this political system. Or we're about to see the election come up. People are going to be doing stump speeches. They're going to be in different locations with people. Everyone says me. Okay. Nice. But think about it. This could be this is something, as somebody I've been entertaining crowds for a long time. This should not be a thought or a fear for anyone. And now that we're getting to election season, the fact that we're not punishing this person with a felony charge, it sets a precedent that's incredibly dangerous for, yes, you, Suni, as well, you, Mo, me, all of us, because now if the punishments are weak, guess what? You are at risk. You are in danger for this because you have, as you always say, a dissenting opinion. So if somebody doesn't like what you have to say, who's to say they're not going to attack you because they don't think that anything can happen?
No, you know the difference between me and Dave Chappelle? I'm a nigga sometimes. And I'm going to have shooters. I'm going to have shooters. You hear me? You try to step on the stage. Go ahead. I'm a nigga sometimes.
So
I got
Dave
shooters.
Chappelle. Like he
ain't got no damn shooters. That dude, he was able to bypass where his shooters was at. Where? You ever see
so
people
you're saying
like
you're gonna have shooters? You're gonna come with security ready to go,
right? Have you ever heard of damn, what's his name? Lil Durk. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, I heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywhere he goes, you getting suplexed if you try to get anywhere near him. He's got shooters. So go ahead, fuck around and find out.
You know what I kind of think, if you want to know my opinion about the Dave Chappelle thing. So I kind of wonder, because of all the controversy about Dave Chappelle and the LGBTQ comments that he made, I kind of feel like somebody put this dude up to it and they said, listen, dude, just rush him on the stage. We got you. There's going to be no charges. And the reason why I say that is because they were filming a Netflix special at the time, at that exact location, at that moment. So they were super strict about cell phones and all this other stuff. So there were celebrities in there. Like, this wasn't just like a regular comedy show, right? So I'm like, how convenient that the one person that was able to sneak in the cell phone had that perfect view.
Look.
That wasn't a perfect view. That was 80 stands up. Like that was, I mean,
but it was still a view.
You aren't going to find security that is going to shoot on site. You don't know niggas. I don't know where you've been at. I'm black. I still got family that's out there selling drugs. I got kingpins. Listen, it's nothing. That's why I say, listen, people should be careful who they talk to on the internet, because you don't know where my state of mind is. You don't know who I know. Stop underestimating people. Just because Dave Chappelle isn't willing to do it, don't mean that I got to be Dave Chappelle. And I saw that comment about, why are you doing a show about news if you don't care about news? Everything ain't fucking news. That's why this wasn't newsworthy for me. So I don't care. There are things that I talk about that everyone else doesn't care. We don't all have to talk about the same things. I just didn't really get into the whole Dave Chappelle thing. It just wasn't newsworthy to me.
So I'm trying to convince you why it is newsworthy to you. Based on what I've said, does it make any more sense of why it does relate to you? And no matter if you have shooters that will back you, if anybody that's taking a gun class, they will tell you that in a matter this quick, unless you have people pointing guns at the audience, how fast that guy got on stage would not be enough time to protect you. He had a knife and somehow he didn't get something through, and whatever it might be. The only thing that protects you is precedent that somebody gets drastically punished. This guy got his arm broken and now he's going to try to get off on misdemeanors, which is insane. It poses a danger to you, me, and Mo as people that do speak on stages. And eventually, again, Suni, as I said, you will be back in the United States. And if you want the platform to speak on a stage, you will have that. This threatens your safety, no matter if you've got shooters to have your back because this happens too quick. So that's why this relates to you.
But does that mean that I have to care though?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
But I do think it's important to look at, because if this becomes a trend, something that all of a sudden politicians, and actually, you know what? It's not even just about you. It's about, as I said before, politicians are going to be afraid to be speaking in certain places. Their voice can't be heard because of the crazy left.
I think that's a stretch.
I
This
mean,
would've- Do you not think this would have been a
That's a
stretch? Hold on, Mo.
stretch.
Do you not think this would have been a stretch 3 weeks ago, pre Will Smith going up on stage? You think that this would be a stretch?
No,
of a
because
guy
this is not unheard of. Where have you guys been? Have you never heard of the Source Awards? You never heard of people getting bum rushed? This is not new. People have been doing this forever. The difference is
happens.
it's just highly televised, and you guys are just now hearing about it. But
In
this
the
is a
comedy
very
world,
common
this is
thing.
not. And maybe in hip hop and whatever, but in the comedy
But it's
world,
not unheard of. So what? It's the comedy world.
it is unheard of. I will go out on a limb and say it is unheard of to see somebody charge a stage at a comedy
No,
club.
it's not. Just because you are seeing it in a comedy realm does not mean it's unheard of. I just literally gave you a source. Check
It
out
used to
the
ha-
Hip Hop Awards and the
It used to
Source
happen to Mike.
Awards.
It's a different culture.
No,
and it's
no,
a
no.
culture
No, it's
it's
not.
a problem.
It used to happen to Michael Jackson all the time.
Stage.
Listen, Michael
You
Jackson.
just wait. Hold on, Mom, I'm gonna let you go. You just said that I should care because it's happening in the realm of politics. I mean, in comedy, because I'm on a stage in politics. How often does it happen in politics if someone bum rushes the stage? Well, it doesn't. So
Yeah.
if the hip hop world doesn't matter, then why the fuck should the comedy world matter?
I don't think it's right in the hip hop world either. I think it's wrong across the board.
But you're throwing it out. I'm trying to figure out why does one take precedence over the
Is
other?
already rooted in a little bit more violence than a comedy culture, plain and simple. It's a celebrated part of hip hop culture and hip hop music, etc. So it's lending itself to a more dangerous air. If you look at comedy, this has been a safe zone forever. Politics have been minus obviously the John F. Kennedy and what other? Ronald Reagan.
Have you ever watched Comic View? You ever watched Def Jam comedy? Have you ever saw any of those awards?
Def Jam,
comedy?
absolutely. And have you ever seen anybody charge the stage on Def Jam?
Maybe once or twice.
But
No.
wait a minute, the Oscars are
Comic
super.
View.
The Oscars are super white, and somebody charged the stage.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like that was kind
Exactly.
of. I don't like that comment.
There's a change happening right now that's getting away from just the rare occasions at a hip hop awards to now being mainstream. This was
But
the
why?
Oscars.
Why contribute violence to hip hop?
Because hip hop contributes violence to their own music. That's part of hip hop culture. The hip hop part of hip hop culture was gang ties, and again, I will celebrate the positive sides of hip hop just as much as the rest. But you can't tell me that there is a difference between country music culture, and hip hop culture.
I'm gonna agree with them there, Suni. I mean, it's just that is what it is. Why do you?
What's
I
the
want to know.
difference between getting shit faced drunk and talking about who you gonna shoot on the record? Like, what's the difference?
A huge fucking difference.
A huge
Okay.
difference. I think one is threatening somebody's life, and the other one is just being stupid. Getting drunk is not the same as threatening somebody's life. I just think it's just, to me, when I think of hip hop culture, and I'm not talking about like back in the day, well, even back in the day, in my day, it's always been about gangs, violence, shooting, bitches, right? That's just what it is. What it is. You never hear the word bitch in a country song. You never hear the word, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot your mama, I'm gonna shoot this bitch, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And you don't hear that in country songs. Country people, I don't even listen to country music, and I know that because country music to me is whack. Okay. I listen to that hip hop violent culture, but because I'm not part of that, that's not my life. That doesn't infiltrate me like that, but whatever. I don't agree that a black comic means that it's part of the hip hop culture. That I don't agree with.
Agreed. I don't mean that either.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you were saying.
No, not at all. I'm saying it's becoming mainstream, whether it's black or white. But right now, you've got Chris Rock, which I think that's an anomaly. But I think that kind of has set this chain off because there was, again, very little punishment. And now you've got a guy that charged a stage with a deadly weapon. He was arrested as assault with a deadly weapon, and he is not getting punished with a felony when it was in front of hundreds of thousands of people or whatever it was there, 30,000 people. I think it's ridiculous. And I know you guys are giving examples, but it shows I don't know these examples because it's part of a different culture than I know of. And I don't think just because I don't know of this happening at different events in the hip hop culture doesn't mean that it's a positive thing. That just means that apparently it's starting to go across the board and it's very dangerous. I think that's
But see, I guess I'm not outraged about it because I don't believe that it was like a real organic event anyways. You know what I mean? Like same thing with the Oscars. I kind of feel like there was something staged there as well
Agreed.
because it was allowed
Agreed.
to kind of it just happened so easily. And I think the same thing with now. The only one that I feel might be a little bit real is Mike Tyson. Like that I believe. Okay. I don't know.
What's the 3 articles, Caleb? I'm trying to find. You said they're comedy.
Why are you laughing?
I just think this is funny, man.
Why? Tell me why.
Because, bro, like, it's not unheard of for people to rush a stage. I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm not gonna shit my pants over this. Like,
I
I've
agree with
seen
you on
people
that.
rush stages, whether it's on the media or not. I don't really give a fuck, bro. I've been to hella concerts, country and hip hop, where people have done dumb shit.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know what, Suni? If one day you're on a stage, or I'm on a stage, or Ruth is on a stage, knowing that this is the world we're living in today, where anything can pop off, and somebody's gonna be there with a phone to put it on, the internet. I'm gonna have, like Suni said, my shooters, okay, on the side. I'm gonna have my shooters. Hell, I'm gonna have a gun on me.
I get it, but it just happens very fast. And I'm not saying I'm shitting my pants. I'm saying this is something that would be better remedied by pressing felony charges when somebody deserves to be pressed with a felony charge. Like,
not if it was a set-up event and they were trying to, you know what I mean? Like that's why I think that happened.
If this guy was willing to get his arm shattered in 37 ways because of a setup, and I agree with you on the Oscars. This one to me doesn't seem. It just doesn't seem a setup.
But maybe they didn't think that it would go the way it did when they told when the dude agreed to whatever, chump change they gave him and whatever deal they gave him, that they weren't going to press charges on him. He probably wasn't told, hey, there's a potential for you to get, turned into a human pretzel. I'm sure they didn't tell him that, but that's what happened. And because these people are stupid.
I want to bring up the Vegas shooting because my buddy was there. My buddy was on stage working. And got hit with a ricochet actually, and his kid was in the room next to one of the shooters. And again, I was working a spring break event 3 months after this, and there is a big building of windows that were literally looking at our stage at all times. And to tell you that I wasn't a little bit nervous would be a complete lie. Like, I think that was a little bit crazy. Now, but that's not somebody rushing a stage. That was one of the
violence is violence.
I get it, but that had nothing to do with the show. This had to do with mass violence of something it's above our pay grade that we'll probably never know about. There's something very different. And of course, he would have been punished to the fullest extent of the law if he was really the only shooter, which I don't believe 80 at all. But regardless, it's very different. He would have been punished he murdered 56 people. So again, they're not a comparison issue, and it doesn't matter what kind of concert it was. That was just a mass killing. Plain and simple. But this is, again, something that happens very quickly where somebody storms. Somebody like, man attacks comedian on stage after being picked on. Shares his
2016.
Faces number of charges to stand swinging, stool throwing. So, okay. So what did he get? What did he end up getting charged with? Very curious.
I don't know. He just wanted you to see that it's not uncommon.
This is the difference between an article in 2018 is this. I can't see because I don't have my glasses. And now is no mention of color in this article or race. Isn't that interesting? Nowadays it's like, a white man.
Well, that's why it's not talked about because they're white.
Right.
That's why. But they have to showcase anytime black people have some shit going on. Come on, bro.
Is this the guy like from The Sixth Sense, the little kid, all grown up? He looks just like him.
You talking about Haley? What is
Yeah.
her
Joe Osment.
Yeah, it looks just like him. That's weird. Is that the guy from the other article?
I don't know.
All right, so I mean, I'll concede that yes, I should not have spoken in absolute. There was a couple times, and it looked like that person, nobody got charged, which is really fucked up. But again, now that we have these publicized events, I think it's important to make a statement in these publicized events. Plain and simple. The ones that everybody sees, it sets a very dangerous precedent if there is not something done in these public, very publicized events. They did so. The one with the glass incident, it says no charges were filed in the article that you sent. The other one said they did charge, and I'd be very curious to see if there was a felony charge in that one. So
awesome. What's the next topic?
That was it. That was our last
That was
topic.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about something else.
I think that's all I got, unless you guys want to talk about anything else. My dog ate a whole rib bone, so I got to watch him the rest of the night.
He'll be fine.
He did it in like 2.5 minutes. How do you eat a rib bone in 2.5 minutes?
Dude, I don't know, but my dogs eat like they haven't eaten in months when I put down food. Why do dogs do that?
Because they're
Like
dogs.
I one time gave my dog like a biscuit, you know, like those little Pillsbury biscuits. I swear that Joker like swallowed that whole thing. Like he said, "Oh," but he put it in his mouth and it was gone.
Wonder where he learned that from,
Unreal.
Mama.
What are you?
Gross.
What was that? What are you saying?
What?
I don't even want to know.
Taking that
What are you-
dick. Just kidding.
What about
damn.
Ukraine? I'm not wasting my time talking about Ukraine. I've already debunked you guys months ago.
About what?
I
Who's
could care
Corinne?
less. Oh, she said, "What about Ukraine?"
Ukraine.
Somebody said,
Oh. So I'm putting this comment in there. We actually had like 40 people click after last week. So this little box in there, if you own a business, oh, thanks, Sergeant Larson. Appreciate you. If you own a business, this link it's called the employee retention credit. Even if you got PPP loans, etc., it's free. Literally, you might be eligible for up to $26,000 per staffer you have. So this is an affiliate link we have that is super beneficial to everyone watching. Like if you had a business and you had employees and you had any suffrage during the pandemic, even if you got PPP, click on that link. Or share it with a friend of yours, and they could. I have a friend, not through these people, but through somebody else, getting almost $300,000. They just have to wait about a year to get it, but that's a lot of money to look at, depending on how many employees, all sizes, including even banks, because banks were helping with PPP, but the paperwork on this one is drastically different. So go ahead and share that with any friends you have on that one. I'll wrap up the end of the episode with the whatchamahoozy, my script that everybody loves. Besides that, anything else anybody want to talk about?
I don't think so.
I just want to say I'll be accepting apologies for calling out Trump a year ago. And if you want to come follow me back, you can come follow me back. I'll take those too. But you can just donate an apologies. Or you can just say you were right. Whatever works for you.
I just want to say I can't wait for the Johnny Depp trial to start back up because I'm already over politics.
I can. Mo, do you
What?
know what you created in his household? Listen, I had a barbecue on the day before Mother's Day, okay? And everyone came to my house and put on that fucking trial. Why do you care?
Okay, people in the chat, drop a 1. Damn it, we only have 50 people. Drop a 1 in the chat if you want us to dedicate a topic to Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard trial.
Don't worry, we've got 80 people watching.
If you do
Look at
that,
that.
let me know so
Let's go,
that I
Wendy.
can check out for that show. Just let me know. I won't be
No,
here.
you know who we need to bring? I need to invite. Her name is House of Habit. Like her posts on the trial are fire. Okay, and she's got people that like personally know Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, inboxing her text messages, information. I'm just like, I'm over here salivating. Okay, salivating.
All these ones in this chat. I cannot
this.
believe
Let's
you guys.
go.
Mo, we've got
Hercules,
80
Hercules.
people watching, so we've got a decent amount.
Oh,
so.
okay. Let's see. Drop
Mo,
it.
when you do it, Y'all
Shut up,
better
Suni.
don't be lying. Let me know when
Suni.
you do it so I can sit down. I'm gonna
Quiet.
just chill in the bed for that day.
I'm talking to my people right now. People.
Suni, if you're chilling in the bed that day, you got to remember to shit in it and put a little amber turd in there.
No, that's white people shit. Black people don't do that. That's just nasty.
White people, have
Dirty
you ever?
bitch.
Do black people ever do the upper decker to piss people off, like that they don't like at their houses?
What is the upper decker?
Upper decker.
You've never heard of an upper decker?
No.
What is that? What is that?
It's when you want to really mess with somebody and you shit in their the top of their toilet bowl in there. You shit in there instead of the toilet bowl. So then when they flush, shit constantly.
Only white folks think about doing
white
that.
people do shit like that. Y'all
We
are
don't.
weird.
No, yeah, y'all got some. Y'all motherfuckers jumping out of airplanes, swimming with sharks, fucking with lions and shit. Nah. Wait, Brave Wilderness, bro. My kids watch Brave Wilderness, and this weirdo likes to get bit by every insect on the planet. I'm gonna designate that for y'all. I'm good. I don't take shits in people's houses. No.
First of all, that's disrespect. In my
Yo, we fighting if you take a shit in my bathroom.
If you're a visitor and you come to my house and take a dump in my toilet, that's disrespectful. You need to leave. Okay? If you can't hold your doo-doo for at least 2 hours, you need to take your ass home. Or it before you come.
I've got some minor irritable bowel. When I gotta go. Like you'll see it on me. Like I got the sweat, and I'll be like,
Russo, you better take your ass to the gas station.
I will
take no shit in my house.
Sometimes I don't have 3 minutes. Like unlike Justin Timberlake.
Well, you know what?
4 minutes. All we got is 4 minutes.
You better say, hey, can I get the toilet bowl cleaner? Just do it on the sly and make sure
I have it.
It'll be good.
Let me tell you something. I have it next to my toilet as a
so do I.
Clean your shit up.
It'll be. You won't even smell it. I do the whole like as I'm there, like it's flushing as it's coming out. Like you wouldn't even know. Like I'm a big dude. I'm 200 pounds. I got some hair on my face and my chest. You'd be like, he probably has stinky shit, but you wouldn't know because it's gone before it even hits the bowl. Unless I'm at home, and then I want to see if I can get one of those out of the water mountains, and I'm like, ooh, I earned this one.
Damn. Dude, okay, so Suni knows about this, but my mom bought one of those Toto toilets. Let me just tell you guys for a second in the chat. She bought one of these Toto toilets, right? Like really, like she bought the one with all the bells and whistles. It like the seats heated, the water, you can control the temperature, you control the temperature of the fan that dries your ass. Let me tell you something, okay? I feel like a peasant when I have to sit on a regular toilet that I have to manually flush that doesn't spray me down and clean me. Okay. I feel like a peasant. That toilet, everybody, like do whatever you got to do. Like get on a pole, sell some rocks, get yourself a Toto toilet. It is worth it.
I have one.
Toto.
It's
Toto,
amazing.
Sponsor us, Toto.
It plays music when I go to use the bathroom.
Oh, it's amazing.
Or sometimes it plays like nature sounds.
It's a whole experience. My husband won't get on it though because he thinks that would make him gay if he got on it. Because
it is for a guy.
Because it sprays your ass. He's afraid he's gonna get a little turned on by like.
Hey, it cleans you out. Not out, but it cleans off that area, okay? Because you know some people have dingleberries. They don't wipe the right way. Go ahead and take advantage of it.
It's not about wiping the right way. Like some people, I look like Chewbacca out of my butthole. So it's like there's only so much cleaning you can do.
But this would be perfect for you because it'll spray like.
Oh, I know. I get you.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
Why don't you get a wax so you don't have that problem? What the
Ow.
hell?
Ow.
Listen. I love waxing. Do you want me to come wax you? I won't wax your ass. That I won't do. But if you want me to wax you, I will. Dude, we should do it live on channel. Mo waxes Russo. Oh my God, I would love it. Drop a 1 in the chat.
Yeah.
If you want me to wax Russo, drop a 1. It's
I quit. I'm putting in my letter of resignation.
What would this be? This wouldn't be a rage quit. This would be a I don't know, a bowel quit.
Y'all are gay as shit, bro. What is this?
It's all the same person. Who is Al Thomas? Al Thomas is
know.
Excited about the about.
Yo.
They want this more than they want Amber Heard.
Yo,
and Johnny,
what is wrong with y'all?
Johnny Depp.
my God. this is
Hemorrhoids?
So funny.
Dang. Do you not take care of your bum? Come on.
Dude,
I can't remember who
would.
asked earlier, not to go back to more sewage about Ukraine, because they were talking about Sunni. They knew your opinion, but they wanted Moanites, and I think we're both very similar. I think we're both very similar to you. We think it's. I don't trust anything out of a country that's almost as corrupt. It's like the second most corrupt country behind Russia over there. So in the end of the day, I feel bad for the people that are getting hurt and getting killed, for the ones that are, and then everything else. The governments both suck, and I don't think we should be sending billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. Yeah. I don't think it's not our war. We shouldn't be getting involved. The more we get involved, the worse it becomes for the world. So, oh really, Mo? You can't vote on your own thing.
Dude, listen, Suni knows. I told her I love.
Mo's very weird.
I love to do a wax. I do my own wax. In fact, Suni was on the phone with me when I was doing my own bikini wax.
Why are you telling people this? It wasn't on camera, people. It was audio.
It wasn't on camera. It wasn't on camera, but I was like literally waxing.
And what did I say? I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like I'm keeping
with the friend. I'm keeping my chia pet back there. I'm sorry. Because honestly, that's my last line of defense before Kelly starts trying to play back there, and I'm like, nope, nope.
Hey,
okay.
nope.
Can I drop a super chat to donate to the Wax Russo Fund, because I'm gonna need a lot of wax. Okay, so drop a super chat and donate to the Wax Russo.
Kinley in the train wreck.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Oh, it's so good.
Al
all right,
is all about this.
Suni, stay on for 1 second, because I want to ask your opinion, because we're about to have the initial logo of Blunt Force Truth, or I'm sorry, Blunt Force, whatever the hell I'm calling it. Drawing a blank in my brain because we've talked about too much butthole and shit. So here is Blunt Force discussion. Thank you. So here we've got, really it's the two outside ones because you kind of need the words. So what are your thoughts on this or this?
Blunt Force. Is that a bullet hole?
Yes.
Okay. I like the first and the last one. I don't really like the middle one.
I like the last one too. I like the last one. I don't like the middle one. Let me see the first one again.
Yeah, I like the last one.
Yeah, me too. All I see is an asshole though, because we've been talking about it.
Oh my God. All right, so everybody in the comment box. So we've got one right here. This is one. And then we'll just say this is two. We will skip the middle one because you kind of would need a little more context, especially when the show is new. So 1 or 2, or if you do 3, I know which one that is. So
everyone's voting 3.
I got a couple 3s. That's kind of where I went. 2 or 3 works.
I don't like 2.
No, 2
it's
is
at the
third
bottom.
One. 2 is the third one. I just said so.
Oh, okay.
1.
Okay.
Yeah. 2. Okay. So everybody's saying the same thing. So we're sticking with that one. Good. That's the one I went with. All right. Nikki, you're fired. Okay. She said 1.
Fired.
Why did Al say big? What is that?
Big?
See, now everything that Al says is suspect to me because he was all for the whack.
Y'all are all suspect right now.
Oh, he likes the big one is what he's saying. Okay.
I bet he does.
That's what she said.
Hey. Okay. I think we're good here.
Yes, we are.
I don't need to really talk about this. We'll leave it out on this episode. But if you,
dude, I feel like, let me just say this. I feel like people love when we get silly and funny. So we really need to do that. Drop a 1 in the chat if you think we need to do this type of talk more often, because I love this stuff. Go ahead, drop a 1 in the chat. And we'll wait.
While you're dropping that 1, friends, remember the world is in serious danger. Inflation is causing. So if you wanna use our affiliate,
I'm not gonna do background music.
I'm not going to do the whole thing. Prepare with BTC.com for your long-term emergency food storage for My Patriots flag. And that's prepare with BTC.com. Prepare with BTC.com. That's it. I'm leaving it at that. Did I get some background? Who's throwing? Oh, no, I forgot we're doing the 1. All right, more goofy. We'll have like a goofy hour at the end of everything. We'll try to figure that out.
I think we should.
All right, bitches. I guess that's it. You guys have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Have a great night as well. Well, it's day for me, but you guys have a good night.
And you guys can always. Oh, I'm on True Social now, even though I really don't care about any of these fucking platforms.
Right. Me too.
Did they let you in, Mo?
Yeah, but I haven't really gone in and set up anything because I'm.
True Social is racist. I'm sorry.
Well, then I'm definitely getting on it.
They don't like Android users, okay? And especially if we're in other countries, we're barred from using it. So, Trump, you are a xenophobe, and you're scared of people
Is
overseas.
it really? Somebody said it was owned by China. Is it really owned by China?
Probably.
The app? I'm
It's
not gonna
gotta
lie.
be.
Hey, do you remember when we did that show and I brought up the investment banker and the programmers that he was using?
Yeah,
Was in China.
that's
Okay.
right.
Yep.
Oh,
It's also open
shit.
source, so that means it's open. Any and everyone can contribute to that. Just saying.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
That makes sense. And if you like our gear, Suni's wearing the Unveed Lives Matter shirt. I've got the Let's Go Brandon hat on.
I'm wearing
Go to
a black square. I'm wearing a black square for BLM.
AwakeNotWokeStore.com. Use Awake for 15% off. Also, I hooked up Erica a little bit on Mother's Day because a couple people bought more of the Cash shirts. If you do want your Cash shirt, that is on the website as well. And that does go. Any of the proceeds do go directly to Erica. Anyways, take it easy, guys. Have a great evening, and God bless. Deuces.
Bye.